You can take those $5,000 trolley tour funds and you can combine them with any other grants that they qualify. This is actually an extra $5,000 if you're getting any other grants along the way, which there's a ton available in Baltimore City. Hey, Kevin, thank you so much for joining me today.
Hey, Beth. How are you this morning?
I'm doing good. I'm excited about our conversation about the trolley tour. It's been going on for years and years and years. And I think that just being there this last trolley tour has really opened my eyes to just the great time that home buyers can have there, the excitement, the energy that's there. So, what makes the trolley tour such a powerful starting point for buyers, especially those who aren't sure where to begin?
So yeah, it's a great event. And just if you're not familiar with the event, it's put on 3 times a year by Live Baltimore, which is a great organization that we partner with to help promote home ownership in Baltimore City. So the event it's a big home buyer fair. The structure of the event being education, there's workshops you can attend, there's all sorts of professionals in the real estate industry that are at the event that you can speak to and get information from. So it doesn't necessarily lock you into one part of the city, but it just gives you a lot of information about how to get started and how people can help you on your journey.
What did you see the buyers get the most clarity on during the tour? Was it budget, process, understanding the steps? What do you think that people really clung to the most?
I think a lot of people really just start to grasp, what gets involved in the process, right? From the point where you're just looking online at houses to pre-qualifying, understanding what your budget is, and then going to a lender who's then sending you to a realtor saying, hey, you're good to go for, this amount, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. So, how does meeting real people like lenders, agents, home ownership educators shift a buyer from curious to confident?
It makes it real, right? So you can spend as much time as you want, again, looking on the internet, Zillow, Redfin, all those applications to see what homes are out there. But you really don't, it's not really not real until you talk to a realtor, you talk to a lender, and then you understand kind of the gravity of everything. Obviously, you're going to make this as your biggest investment, most likely, especially if it's your first time buying a home. So biggest investment, but again, we're the professionals there to help hold your hand and get you set up for success on that. So it can be a little scary, but that's what we're here to help with, right?
So, for someone who's overwhelmed by online information, why is this in person experience such a game changer?
Well, I think it is good to, again, have that personal touch, right? When you're speaking with lenders and agents where, you can see all these different numbers out there in terms of interest rates or what's available. But especially working with local partners, like a local lender, local agent, of course, and Live Baltimore, the organization, we are the ones that are going to help you find the incentives. If you need incentives, help find you the different programs that are unique to the area. And we're experts in getting those incentives for you for whatever you qualify for to make sure that, you're comfortable with the numbers and that everything lines up the way you need it to. So it's really important to speak with local partners in the industry, and this event gathers them all together so you can find a good fit.
Yeah, I think it makes a difference. When you're talking online, you're filling out a form, you're text messaging with someone, you're in Facebook Messenger, however, you're communicating with someone, maybe the starting professional, whether it be a lender or a real estate agent or whomever that may be. And I feel like there is something to be said about being face to face with someone, seeing somebody with a smile on their face that has helped many different home buyers through the process over and over and over again to make that home buyer feel comfortable enough to say, I think I want to take the first step and buy a house. I think there's
Exactly.
something to be said about that.
And also, I've had so many people that I've reached out to, just via email or on the phone. But once you do meet them in person at the event, it can really, again, provide that extra level of comfort. Just nothing really beats face-to-face interaction, right? Still in today's day and age. So it helps build that trust and that bond, going to the event, I'd say.
Yeah, absolutely.
Event. So would you say that there's a way to help buyers choose the class that matches where they are in their home buying journey? Because people come at various different stages to the event in their process. And so what would you say, Beth? How would you say that they help buyers choose a class that fits where they are?
Yeah, so I mean, I would definitely paint a picture about that day. I think you would agree with me that, people walking in those doors for the Live Baltimore Trolley tour, they just have so much excitement, coming in the doors, and, you have your people at the front door that helps direct them. I mean, I would tell you, and of course they've done this for a few many years, but still, like, I really have to commend Live Baltimore for how they run their show. I mean, it's controlled chaos, of course, because you have so many people walking in the door, but you have so many volunteers, so many people that are involved that help guide people to where they need to go in the event. It's really awesome. So people get this lanyard and it tells them whether they're doing the trolley tour first or whether they're doing a class first. And then, of course, they get to go downstairs. They get to see all the vendors set up. They get to talk to local lenders and local service providers in the industry. And, the people that come up that's taking class first, that was my job this year. So I was standing at the door making sure that nobody got into the classrooms early. And there was this big sign on the side that had all of the classes lined up. And of course, there was like the first set of classes, and then the second set of classes, which the second set was actually going to be the trolley tour people that were going to come back and take that second set of classes. So the top part was there. There was a little legend in the top of the sign, which had little icons next to it, which I think was super helpful for them, where it was like, if you're a beginner and just starting, here's this little house, for instance. If you're looking for a class on finance, here's this one. So that was very helpful, I think, in people finding exactly which class that they wanted to take. But not only was there a legend, but there was some really great thought provoking fun classes like single and buying a house. Like, that's
Right.
awesome, right? Um, and then, of course, different things about, repair loans. What happens if I want to buy a house and I want to renovate it? I want it to be a fixer-upper. So many different classes were there and available. So when people went up, I was able to kind of just like guide them through that process of finding a class, and then they were able to choose their class and get into the classroom when the time came. But I think that just that guide and legend was helpful just to start that conversation, and then talking to the home buyer like, oh, okay, where are you in the process, and what are you most worried about, or what are you thinking, are you pre-qualified yet? Like, all of those questions was really helpful to try to help figure out which class was best for them.
So would you say that you saw potential home buyers from all different stages of the process, from really just starting out to maybe they're already pre-approved and ready to buy?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, from the very beginning, my mom brought me to this home buying fair, and I'm just getting started, and I have not even thought about purchasing house before today to, I'm pre-qualified, I'm ready to go. I know what I'm doing, I know what I can purchase, and there were classes for those types of people too, and of course, everywhere in between.
Okay, great. Yeah, I mean, I talk with people at these events sometimes that say, I might be a year out, and that's fine. You can go to as many trolley tour events as you want. They're always free. There's no restriction on how many times you can go. I've worked with people who've gone to 5 or 6 probably over a couple of years before actually finding a house. So, and I think Beth has too. So great. Okay. And then would you say that finding the right fit at a class, does that maybe help move things along or accelerate the process for some of the folks that are attending the event?
Think it does. I think like every part of the trolley tour and, the whole event does that. I think the classes just kind of like is one more thing on top of that where, they get to go in, they get to talk to other home buyers that are in the class. There's a service professional, a lender, or someone in the room that's going to be teaching on a topic or a subject. But I think every single thing that these people do, I think just gets them one step closer to making that first step if they haven't done it yet. And that's getting pre qualified with a lender to find out, is now the right time for me to purchase? Should I talk to my lender? Will they give me some good solid credit advice, or advice to save up some more money, or what do I need to do before I purchase my home? Like, taking that first step, I think, can be the hardest. But I think once you take that first step, it's free. You talk to a lender, they tell you, give you some good sound advice. And if you go to a lender to get pre qualified and they never call you back again, that is not the lender for you. So that's actually one of the biggest, most amazing reasons to go to one of these trolley tours because these lenders work with these programs all the time. So what that means is not only are they a good lender and they're going to do a good job to get you your loan to purchase your home, but they're going to help you every step of the way. So when you first get started, if you're not ready yet, they're going to be reaching back out to you. You're going to be calling that home buyer and saying, "Hey, you have a little bit of work to do, but if you do XYZ and you come back to me in 6 months, we can get you a house." And that's one of the
Exactly.
biggest reasons, to move forward with that for sure.
Also, you don't have to do all the legwork to find out what you're eligible for. That's what a good lender partner is there for, right? Is to find those incentives that you might be eligible for. And we're the ones that actually apply for them for you. All you really need to do is do your homebuyer counseling, which is another topic for another time. But again, homebuyer counseling, very important. So yeah, and then last thing on this topic, would you say there's an aha moment or something that really clicks for some buyers that you've seen once they attend the workshops or, once the event's over?
Yes, actually, that's funny. So when people were walking out of those doors, I was asking them, "Hey, how was your class? What did you learn? What's your takeaway?" And I think one of the biggest takeaways is just them talking about that first step. Like it's like that aha moment, like that light bulb went off for them. And they were like, "Okay, I feel like I have the direct steps now to know what I need to do to just get my process started." If they were just getting started, if they were like brand new, had not gotten pre qualified, the other people that have, already gotten pre qualified, they're already searching for a home, they're excited because, the trolley tour is a lottery, right? So they're all like, "Hey, after this trolley tour, if I do all my steps, if I have everything ready to go, within the next week or two, if I go under contract, I could get 5,000 extra dollars to purchase my homes." Just excitement coming out of those classroom doors.
Very cool.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see. We're coming along here. So, what should buyers be doing before the tour to get the most out of it? And what should they do after the tour to keep their momentum going?
So before the tour, again, the number one thing, if you haven't started in the process or if you're just in the beginning process, the number one kind of 1A and 1B steps that I always tell people to do are start inquiring about doing your home buyer counseling education workshop, right? Because a lot of the incentives with Baltimore City do require you to do home buyer counseling, which is typically an online workshop and then a one-on-one session with a home buyer counselor. That is number one, but that counseling is good for 12 months. It's never really too early to do it. And then 1B, of course, talking with a lender as well. You want to talk to a counselor and a lender more than likely before you go to a realtor, right? You want to kind of know what your financial situation is. Of course, if you have a realtor that you're working with, that's fine too. But the realtor is going to say, "Hey, you need to talk to a lender so that, we know what you're pre-approved for." So the number one thing that you want to kind of do is talk to the lender, figure out your monthly budget, what you're comfortable with. Again, it's really not about sale price, right? You see these numbers out there, sale price. Oh, I think I can qualify for a $300,000 house. Well, maybe you can, but you want to pay only $1,500 for a month for your house. And I can tell you right now, a $300,000 house is going to be a little more than $1,500 a month when you factor in, the principal and interest, the taxes, the homeowner's insurance, et cetera. So it's really important to nail down that monthly number that you feel comfortable with. Again, never too early to do that counseling. And in order to prep yourself better during the event, just ask the lenders, especially, do you do these incentives? Are you familiar with these incentives? What's your communication schedule? What's your availability, right? If I need to contact you in the evening after work or on the weekends, right? You want to find somebody who is a good fit, not only obviously in rate, right? But also in availability and who's going to be there for you if you have questions or if you need to see some numbers, before you go look at a house. So that's really important is again, just having the conversations, never too early to have that first conversation, especially with the lender.
Yeah, and I completely agree with you with the homeowner education, like the counseling. You go through the classes and then you do that one-on-one. Not only is it gonna tell you what you qualify for, what grants you qualify for, and all of that, but these housing counselors, they're HUD certified. They're not coming off the street. They've been through training. They've done this for years. So they're gonna be also giving you information, the home buyer information. They're gonna be giving them a list of lenders. They're gonna be helping them through that next step versus having to be like, "Oh my gosh, and now they tell me that I have to find the lender and I have to go online and find one." You don't have to do that. These housing counselors have lenders that work with the programs that will help you through that first step, that they're going to give you a list. So that's really important too, because not all lenders work with down payment assistance. So if you get a lender that doesn't work with down payment assistance, you say, "Hey, Mr. or Mrs. Lender, I want to get pre-qualified and I want to get some, down payment assistance." Some of these lenders might say, "Oh, there's nothing available," or "We don't have anything." So when you go to these housing counselors, they're going to take you to lenders that do work with the down payment assistance programs. That's really important. And
I agree.
agents too, of course. So if buyers want to take advantage of the incentive, what timeline should they expect?
So the way that it works is that you typically have, it's about 12 business days after the event to go under contract. So if the event's on a Saturday, you typically have until the Wednesday, 2 weeks, and then the Wednesday after that to go under contract and then get your paperwork in to get into the lottery for the $5,000 incentive. So you can definitely get pre-approved and get counseled if you haven't even started, during that timeline. It's obviously a busy time for the counselors and for lenders because there's a lot of people looking to get all that done in that shorter time frame. But you can get all that stuff done if you haven't even really thought about it until you go to the event. You can get that done in that time span and get there. So within the first 48 hours, maybe after the event, you're going to want to have your phone calls with lenders, maybe chat. You can have a couple different pre-qualifications going, comparing lenders, right? To make sure you get the best fit. But then once you're pre-qualified, go reach out to your agent, say, "Hey, I've got a couple houses I want to go see. Let's go see them." Because it could take you a week to get under contract, right? Just because you write an offer one night doesn't mean it's going to be accepted and ratified the next day. It could take a few days to negotiate, and there might be other offers, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, you want to jump on it, right? If you're ready, but if you're not quite ready and you're just still kind of getting pre-qualified, pre-seeing what's out there, again, these events happen typically every, 3 months or so. It's not going to be the last opportunity you get, and you can go to the event again. Time is a little bit of the essence if you're planning to use the incentive and you're ready to go and do it then. But if you're not, we'll still coach you up and get you ready for maybe the next one if you're not quite there yet.
Nice. Okay. So, how do you help buyers shift from tour attendee to offer ready with confidence?
So I would say that again, you just really want to have that conversation, ask the questions as the buyer, right, to the lender. Can I do this? Can I get that? Because again, the good lender is going to say, all right, well, you make this amount of money and you have this much saved. So you can qualify for this loan amount and we can get you this incentive and we can get you the trolley tour if you find something quickly. And then they're going to provide you typically a worksheet so that you can be familiar with the numbers, kind of detailing what the estimated monthly payment might be, the estimated amount needed for closing, cash close from you. So that's when it really does become real, if you will, is when you get that pre-approval letter, you get those numbers, and then that gives you the confidence to, again, go to your realtor and say, "Hey, I got 5 houses I want to see and I'm approved for $300,000. Let's go see them." Right. And the realtor loves that. Beth, I know loves seeing a pre-approval letter saying, "Hey, I've done my due diligence as the buyer. The lender's done their due diligence, with their documentation, the buyer's documentation. And then you're off to the races." Right. So,
It's your magic
you're,
ticket.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, so it can be a very quick transformation, and if it's not quick, that's okay too. If you need time to get things sorted out with your credit, or if you need to save a little more money, again, it's really never too early to have that conversation so that we can put you on the right path.
All right. So, man, this has been so helpful. I know a lot of home buyers are going to be watching this video, and it's really going to help them take that first step or that next step to where they need to be. And hopefully, we'll see them at the trolley tour. So, can you tell everyone when the next one is?
Yeah, it is February 7th. It's a Saturday. It's always from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. Totally free to attend. I think Beth is going to put a link in the in the post here for sign up if you want to sign up. Again, totally free. I know we'll be there. We'll look forward to seeing you. Come say hello and ask us any questions that you have. But again, it's a great event. Thanks to Live Baltimore for always putting it on. It's a big undertaking, and it's something that a lot of cities don't do stuff like this, right? So Baltimore does make it a big point of emphasis to invest in home buyers and home ownership. So it's great that, we have this event and keep it going a few times a year, every year.
Yeah. And oh, final words. With one big thing that people probably should know about this is that you can take those $5,000 trolley tour funds and you can combine them with any other grants that they qualify. So this is actually an extra $5,000 if you're getting any other grants along the way, which there's a ton available in Baltimore City. Sometimes they run out of funds here and there, but they always replenish. So sometimes you're getting an extra $5,000, not just $5,000, which is awesome. Thank you so much for joining me today and going over the trolley tour. And I can't wait to see you there.
Thanks, Beth. Look forward to it.